You go into consulting for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. If you don't consciously plan for making your work life sustainable, you are highly unlikely to achieve your reason or to stay a lifetime, and your season in consulting will be a lot shorter than planned because of burnout. When I was a management consultant at McKinsey, my typical workday ended at 10 p.m. That was normal. An amazing workday ended at 7 p.m. and at worst I worked till 3 a.m. It's hard to imagine how a life like this can ever be bearable. But in this video, I'm going to share 10 ways to make life in consulting sustainable. Cracking the code on a sustainable life in consulting is not only good for your health and well-being, but also unlocks millions of dollars. Let me explain how. The earning curve in consulting is exponential. New consultants are known to be very well paid, but this is also when the hours are the longest. So on a per hour basis, it's not that compelling. What you are actually working for early in your career is the earnings that come later. The longer you stay in consulting, the less the hours you work, but the pay gets incredibly high. The most senior leaders at consulting companies can make upwards of $5 million a year. What this means is that all your hard work and time put into consulting early on truly pays off years later, but you need a sustainable lifestyle that works for you so that you can keep enjoying the work and sticking around to those real paydays that come after about 10 years or so. So whether you are planning to stay in consulting for 2 years or 10 years, let's talk about making it sustainable. First, you need to adjust your expectation of what good lifestyle looks like. Consulting, like investment banking and other prestigious careers, will never be 9-to-5 type jobs. The work is intense, but the pay, growth, and impact was meant to make it worth it. If you go into this knowing that it's typical to work 12 to 15 hours a day, then you are less likely to feel like you are being shortchanged. Almost everyone is working these hours too. I got a glimpse into this before I joined McKinsey because my partner at the time, now my husband, joined McKinsey a few months before I did. I saw the long hours he was working, but what I didn't see was that everyone was working crazy hours just like him. It annoyed me to think that he was the only one. I felt like he was being taken advantage of, that he shouldn't have to work these hours, that he should push back and demand fewer hours. It wasn't until I joined myself and discovered that everyone was in the same boat. Next, take breaks between projects. I always say that it's difficult to have good lifestyle on a daily basis in consulting, but you can have good lifestyle in aggregate over the course of a year. I book time off between every project to rest, recover, travel, do hobbies, basically all the things that filled my cup. I took longer periods off after long projects and short periods off after short ones. This also meant that I couldn't roll from one project directly onto the next. For me, starting a new project was like taking a big gulp of air and then going down underwater. At the end of the project, I needed to come up for air and take a few days off, take some deep breaths, take care of myself, and everything else that I valued. Then when I was ready, I would take a deep breath again and then go under into my next project. Once I exhausted my paid time off, I would use unpaid time off. That's how important it was to me to have these breaks between engagements. I had the privilege and opportunity to do this, but if you don't, then consider strategically signing yourself up for multi-day training programs that most consulting companies have. At McKinsey, there is usually a 3 to 5 day compulsory program available every 18 months or so. And if you are specializing in an industry or function, there are industry and function conferences you can attend. There are also optional multi-day trainings you can sign up for. A lot of this was virtual during the pandemic, but they are slowly moving to in-person again. The next 2 tips are about setting yourself up for success. Choose to work with more lifestyle-focused people. So much of your experience in consulting, good and bad, is based on who's on your team and who is leading your team. When I first started at McKinsey, I really wanted to do retail work. But I quickly realized that it doesn't matter what problems you're solving, it matters who you are solving them with. Before you join any engagement, you should be calling people who the team manager has worked with before and asking questions about how to work best with this manager, what they like, what they don't like. This is called doing due diligence. Some managers prioritize lifestyle more than others, so you can gauge this through these calls. Also, you will hear talk around the office of which managers care about lifestyle and sustainability. So actively seek to work with these people. Linked to this, certain projects just allow for better lifestyle by nature. Long projects like transformations or PMO projects that span 6 months or more will definitely allow for better lifestyle than 1 to 2 week due diligences. Also, certain industries or functions have reputations for being less demanding. I spent my best lifestyle on people and organizational performance engagements. The next few tips are about increasing efficiency and productivity to free up more time for yourself. Get good quickly. I had some of my longest working hours in my first 18 months of consulting because I had so much to learn over this time, but was also expected to contribute at the same time. I was once in charge of building a net present value model for a big construction project that a client was considering. I had never used Excel before this, and I had no idea what net present value was. I was just a few months out of my engineering degree, and we didn't use Excel nor learn about NPV in my engineering program. Someone who was already experienced with this could have built this model in half the time. Instead, I was up till 3 a.m. most days, learning and building this model. After I mastered the consulting toolkit, I could be really productive and efficient at getting my work done. This created some free time for me. If you are interested in learning more about the consulting toolkit, watch this video next. If you would like to get a head start in one of the most critical skills for early tenure consultants, take a look at the slide making resources in the description below. Linked to getting good quickly is specializing quickly. This is linked to being efficient and productive to free up more time. When I first joined McKinsey, I was a generalist consultant, which meant that I could be staffed to any problem type across any industry. This meant that every time I joined a new engagement, I'd have to ramp up from zero on that industry and client and even who I was working with. Also, when I worked with a completely new team, I had to build up my reputation and trust from scratch each time. This was really time consuming. Once I narrowed my focus to mining and energy, I started working with the same teams over and over again, and I was able to leverage pattern recognition from project to project. I got smarter and faster with each engagement and was able to free up time each day for myself. Leverage firm resources and ask for help. Don't get stuck on anything for too long. As a consultant, we are on the line for getting the best possible answer to the question on our plate, not to solve the question 100% ourselves. Before I dived into doing any analysis or building a model, I would first look whether a model like this had been built before so that I don't have to start from zero. If I got stuck on a complicated formula I was trying to build, I would ask one of my team members. If they couldn't help, I would call up our help desk and talk to an analytics expert. They could access my laptop remotely and make changes to my model live. Honestly, without help, I would probably take 3 times longer and get to a worse answer than if I just asked for help early on. We are 7 down with 3 more to go. And if you found anything helpful so far, please consider liking and subscribing. I am Ramona, a former consultant turned executive coach, and I share career hacks that I wish I knew sooner. Now back to it. The next 2 points are about how to prioritize where and how you spend your time. Decide where it matters to get an A+ versus a B. In consulting, it can often feel like everything is urgent all the time and that everything needs to be at an A+ level. This is not true, and if you can allocate your time well across the B to A+ spectrum, you can save yourself some time. A presentation for a final client meeting needs to be at an A+ level, but the first draft of the presentation weeks before could be at a B. If you are struggling to determine what needs to be at an A+ or what could be a B, ask your manager. They are ultimately on the line for helping you prioritize. Also, I would not phrase it as, so what do you think I should get an A+ on right now? Just ask, So what is the highest priority right now, and what does success look like for that priority? Lack of clarity of what good looks like or unclear expectations can be the biggest time suck. So align early to set yourself up for success. Learn to say no. Even if you are staffed on a client engagement, you will be asked by leaders to get involved in client development activities or office building activities. This is how you build relationships and network with senior people. You are expected to take on these extra initiatives on top of your client work and are expected to do them in your free time, which honestly you will hardly have. It's easy to say yes to too many side initiatives when a senior person or a mentor asks you, because saying no is hard. But you need to weigh up each ask with what it's costing you to say yes. Even though saying no can be really hard, just remember that saying no to one thing is saying yes to another. By saying no to helping on a client proposal document, I'm saying yes to the engagement I'm currently staffed on, I'm saying yes to working out, or I'm saying yes to helping out on some other initiatives that I'd rather work on. A no to one thing is a yes to something else. Lastly, this can be sustainable if you can get energy from the job. Like, when people are running marathons and they are able to grab those like bags of water and drink it while running. They don't have to stop and drink it. They can do it while doing this. You will enjoy the run more if you can support your teammates and they can support you. And you will have some pretty incredible people on your teams. If you can see someone crunching away on something urgent, get them lunch. Ask them if you can help. Get to know the people on your team. Be social with them. Have fun with them. They are the people you spend most of your time with in lieu of your family or friends. So make it count. I would love to answer any of your questions in the comments. Please subscribe now if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next video.